Most people know the name. It sat in the corner of your computer screen for years. A little shield that's protecting you from the dangers of the internet. But while the software was designed to create order and safety, the man who created it lived a life of absolute chaos. This is the story of John McAfee, mathematical genius, tech pioneer, and eventually an international fugitive. It's a tale of paranoia, jungle compounds, and one of the most bizarre manhunts in modern history. Like most stories that end the way this one does, we first have to understand the beginning. In the late 1980s, the world was just waking up to the concept of a computer virus. John McAfee was the first to see the scale of the threat. He wrote the code to stop it, gave it away for free to users, and charged corporations for licenses. It was a brilliant business model. By the time that he resigned from his company in 1994, he cashed out his stake for a reported $100 million. He had money, fame, and freedom, but for McAfee, quiet retirement just wasn't in the cards. He dabbled in everything from yoga retreats to ultralight aircraft. But when the 2008 financial crisis hit, reports surfaced that his fortune had plummeted from $100 million to just $4 million. Whether that's true or just a way for him to hide his assets remains a mystery, but it triggered a drastic change. He auctioned off his properties and moved to the jungles of Belize. This is where the story shifts from eccentric billionaire to something a lot darker. In Belize, McAfee didn't just build a home, he built a fortress. He surrounded himself with armed guards and a pack of aggressive dogs. He began pouring money into a mysterious research lab on his property. He claimed he was trying to develop a revolutionary natural antibiotic derived from jungle plants. However, locals and the authorities suspected something else entirely. His behavior became increasingly erratic. He would frequent online forums, boasting about his experiments and his lifestyle. The paranoia began to set in. He was convinced that he was being watched, that the government was out to get him, and that rival cartels were plotting against him. In 2012, the tension reached a breaking point. The gang suppression unit of the Belize Police Department raided his compound. They found weapons and chemistry equipment. McAfee was detained but eventually released without charge. But for McAfee, this was proof. They were coming to get him. Life on the island of Ambergris Caye became a pressure cooker. McAfee clashed frequently with his neighbor, an American expatriate named Gregory Fall. The two men argued constantly, mostly about McAfee's dogs and the armed security patrolling the beach. Fall even filed a formal complaint with the city's mayor. Then, on a Sunday morning in November 2012, Gregory Fall was found unresponsive in his home. He had passed away from a fatal injury. The police immediately wanted to question McAfee. He was a person of interest, not a suspect yet, but they needed to talk to him. But when they arrived at his compound, John McAfee was gone. Later, he would claim that when the police arrived, he buried himself in the sand on his property, putting a cardboard box over his head to breathe, hiding there for hours while officers searched his house. The manhunt was on. For the next several weeks, the world watched a real-time fugitive drama. McAfee didn't just hide, he broadcasted. He went on the run with his young girlfriend, moving from hideout to hideout, all while blogging about his experience and calling reporters. He claimed that the Belizean authorities weren't trying to question him, but were trying to silence him permanently. He dyed his hair and beard to change his appearance, disguised himself as an erratic tourist, and claimed to have a network of body doubles to confuse the police. It was the first time that we saw a fugitive live stream their own evasion. Eventually, he crossed the border into Guatemala, seeking political asylum, but his need for publicity became his undoing. Two reporters from Vice magazine joined him to document his escape. They posted a photo of themselves with McAfee to their website, and in this, they forgot one crucial detail: the metadata. The photo still contained the GPS coordinates of where it was taken. Tech enthusiasts online spotted it immediately. They pinpointed his exact location to a yacht club in Guatemala. The authorities were alerted, and shortly after, McAfee was detained by the Guatemalan police for entering the country illegally. While in detention, the drama continued. He suffered a medical emergency, which he later admitted he faked to buy time and avoid being sent back to Belize, and was eventually deported to the United States instead. McAfee landed in Miami, a free man. Because he had not been charged with a crime in the US, and the investigation in Belize had stalled without his presence, he simply went back to being a celebrity. But the story doesn't settle down. Over the next few years, McAfee ran for president of the United States under the Libertarian Party twice. He became a massive figure in the cryptocurrency world, promoting his various coins and claiming he would eat his own shoe on live television if Bitcoin didn't hit a certain price. He lived on a boat, claiming he was in international waters to avoid the IRS. He constantly stated that if he were ever found unresponsive in a cell, it would not be by his own hand. He even got a tattoo emphasizing this claim. So in October 2020, the law finally caught up with him, but not for the neighbor in Belize. He was arrested at the airport in Spain at the request of the US Department of Justice. The charges? Tax evasion. The United States government alleged he had hidden millions in income from speaking gigs, crypto promotions, and selling the rights to his life story. He spent months in a Spanish prison waiting for extradition, and on June 23, 2021, the Spanish National Court authorized his extradition to the United States to face charges that could have seen him spend the rest of his life in prison. Just hours after that ruling was made public, John McAfee was found unresponsive in his cell. The official report stated it was a voluntary act. However, due to his previous statements and the tattoo, conspiracy theories erupted immediately. To this day, the internet remains divided on what truly happened in those final moments. John McAfee left behind a complicated legacy. He was a pioneer who helped build the cybersecurity industry, yet he spent his final years trying to bypass the very systems of order he helped to create. He was a genius, a showman, and a fugitive who lived his life on the razor's edge until the very end.